Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM. If you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, particularly Lawrie Goes Loco, then the links to our social media are coming up on the screen now, including our Discord where you can chat to me, the rest of the team, about things that we show on the channel. Trains, planes, cars, all that wonderful stuff, particularly railways, which is the reason for today's video. I've been invited back to the Apedale Railway, home of the Moseley Railway Trust, home of almost 100 locomotives, some of which you can see behind me. They have an absolutely phenomenal collection here and it's well worth checking out. And you may remember that last time I was here we took out a First World War motor rail simplex and took it around their field railway. Well, today they've said they found me a suitable locomotive out of their collection, something that really stands out as being a locomotive that really is a LMM locomotive. So with that, welcome to Lawrie Goes Loco. I'm not entirely sure what this is. This shed on a chassis. At this stage, guys, I'm genuinely not even sure if this thing is a locomotive. It's interesting to say that, oh no, it does have an engine. There is an engine attached here. So, locomotive? This thing, you might be able to guess, isn't actually how it was when it originally rolled out of the factory. This was a Lister RM3 and it's number 50888 of 1959. And basically everything that you see before you isn't really how it was. So the bottom half, the wheels and the buffer beams, that's Lister as it was. The engine, that's not right. Originally, this was outfitted with a 10 horsepower unit, which was nothing like this. What we've got fitted here now is a 30 horsepower Lister TS3, which kind of looks rather unceremoniously just plonked in there. And then the big thing to come to is whatever this is, which is, I believe somebody has tried to make a cab for it. This is brilliant. This is without doubt the most interesting thing I've ever looked at. So the Lister kind of locomotive like this were very popular. They're lightweight, they're very easy to use, and they were pretty robust. They just kept on going with very little, well, work or anything. And originally it weighed about 2 tons, which makes it fairly ideal for things like peat railways because it's pretty lightweight. If it does come off, it's not that much effort to put it back on. Now in this rebuilt form is about an extra half ton in it, we think, somewhere around there. So what's particularly interesting about this thing is that it's actually a relatively newcomer into preservation, having at the time of filming only been officially preserved in the last 6 months, which make it, well, one of the newest preserved vehicles in the country, which is a little bit strange. The Lister Railtruck is actually quite popular for people in preservation. They're relatively easy to work on, as they were at the time, easy to move around, but particularly for people who have their own setup, say garden railways, you know, when they've gone for full hog 2-foot gauge garden railways, or you know that. These things will go around ridiculously tight bits of track, which obviously make it, when you've got a small space, that's quite a useful thing. This one, maybe current, this not quite as desirable. It's, I've never seen anything like this, guys. I'm a little bit speechless to work on the modifications, shall we say. It's an interesting modification and rather striking. I think most of you will be kind of taken away by this quality workmanship. Who makes things like this? The answer is Peat Railways. This was supplied brand new in 1959 to Eclipse Peat Works, which was the Great Plains work down near Ashcott somewhere, to obviously work on a peat railway. Now, Obviously, the company had kind of taken to these locomotives because this was part of about 14 of these kind of listery things that was used on the railway. And this one was chosen, well, this was going to be the test bed for other kind of modifications. So this isn't even the original engine, it's not the second engine, this is, I think, the third engine that it's had on it. And it had a kind of different things with water-cooled engines and radiators and all kinds of weird gubbins. So they changed that out again. But the big thing that this has that's different from anything else is this one's got a hydraulic transmission because the company was going through gearboxes faster than Lister could actually replace them. So they went, clearly the gearbox isn't up for it, because these are normally obviously built with clutch and gearbox system, and put a hydraulic drive into it. So yeah, this is an experimental locomotive. So first on LMM, experimental locomotive. Now, one might think that that's a brilliant idea because hydraulic drive, yeah, far more controllable, no gearbox to brake, brilliant. But it didn't really seem to save anything because the works closed in '82. And with the peak works closing, well, there was no real use for it anymore because no traffic. And so it was sold off by a company called Regional Peat Products. And it went to Lindo Moss in Cheshire to work on the peat works there. So this has been a peat works engine its entire life. And with its improved transmission, this became the main locomotive at the works because it was a bit heavier and far more controllable. And it worked there all the way up to 2001, making this possibly one of the last working industrial locomotives in the country, which is something pretty special. Now, it was at this place in the late 90s that it received this fancy bit of bodywork here, this wonderful thing made out of, well, plywood. When it went there in its previous life, it had kind of best described as a cling film bodywork, and trust me with this, guys, it had some canvas that rolled down here and it was basically pallet wrapped around the side of it to try and provide some insulation against the weather, because as you can imagine, being out on a peak bog in the middle of winter or in any weather that isn't pure sun would be absolutely grim. I mean, bear in mind that these have no bodywork as factory. Can you imagine just sat there shivering away on the seat, the wind, the rain, the snow coming at you? Anything would be good. So, deciding that cling film wasn't the correct way to make a cab, this was jerry-rigged together. And this has had a couple of versions as well, but here we go. Anyway, I digress. At the end of 2001, this was parked up in the shed, and everything around it was lifted. All the rails went, and basically almost all signs bar the shed of the railway disappeared. And that's where it sat until 2020. Completely forgotten about, unloved. Now, there were a couple of attempts to preserve it, but they came to nothing until the current owner managed to send an email in January and then heard back in May time, which is quite a good delay, about these. And basically, the guy who was in charge of everything went, yeah, do you want to come have a look? To which the owner went, yes, and turned up at this overgrown shed, cut his way through the brambles and the undergrowth, opened the door to be greeted by this, which at the time had a face on it, which opened the door to reveal this face staring out of you was slightly strange, to say the least. But the best thing about it is that it's had minimal work to get it back to this stage. The engine to date, to get it to this running state, has had the following work carried on. It has had a new oil filter, some new oil. It's had the diesel tank flushed out and new diesel, and the diesel pump was cleaned. And that is it. That's all it's had done to it to bring it back to working life. Which is, I mean, this is basically the stuff of dreams, to find an abandoned, forgotten about locomotive and to do nothing to it and to have it running. And this is basically presented to you now in the condition that it was found. You know, slightly cleaned up and the cobwebs removed, but this is how it was. This is how it was working, this is how it was left, and this is how it is running now. And at the time of filming, one of the newest preserved locomotives in the country, which is pretty cool. One of my favourite things about this 1.9 litre power plant is the fact that we've got a silencer here, and then it erupts out of the roof here with all of the paint material that was once around it burnt off. But to stop it rattling around, because it's held on by nothing, there's just this piece of wood just jauntily poked there to jam it in place, which is absolutely fantastic. Mega. Allow me to take you through some of the features of this thing. First off, on the front here, we have a window made out of perspex, which has been bolted on, and my favourite thing about it is it's not actually been cut straight, it is just a piece that someone's found somewhere and slapped on there. Next, we have this interesting little cutout here, which again, I really like the fact that it's been cut straight. This is the level of job that I would do. And the reason for this is you can put your arm inside and you can get to the ignition key here and also reach the decompressors across here. So on a very cold day, you can turn it over, get it spinning up and then put the decompressors in, which is brilliant. We also have wonderful features like this, which is, well, interesting. That's the one not gone forever. Put that there. Now this door here, you may notice these interesting rivets, and this is one of the few repairs the owner has done to repair the door with this wonderful piece of just bolting metal to the back of it. This is access to the battery. I'll put the wing like that, which is, yeah, pretty good. So you can get to the battery and connect that up. This little bracket here, we believe used to hold re-railing bars because it's a Peatworks railway and, well, they're pretty badly laid normally. And then we come round to one of the best features I like about this. The door has a bolt across it so you can lock it and keep it secure. But how do you get into it if you've locked it from the inside and the locomotive is secure? Well, you have these clips here which you knock up and pull like this, and then this whole panel pulls out so you can reach in and unbolt the door. It's just, we've locked our door so you can't get in it. But you pull the whole front end off to get inside it, to open up the cap. Oh, it's brilliant. And then you've got another piece of perspex here which has just been slapped on, which is, it's a quality job. And we've got, one of the nice things though is that after it was cleaned up and so we found the number 2 was still left on it, so we know that it was at works number 2 somewhere, probably in its last life. It's unique. I think that's the best thing I can say about this. This is truly and utterly unique. There are certain interesting features on the locomotive. For instance, this bolt that's put at this jaunty angle, which is apparently meant to hold this. There are photos of it that you have the starting handle, which just goes there, which is wonderful. And it's full of quirky little things like this. Another thing that the owner is particularly happy with is that it hasn't actually lost its identity. The works plate and its number are still stamped on the side of the frames. Now, it's not to say either that the owner has got a fully functioning locomotive that needs no works. Down here, this is a repair which has been welded together, and the weld is broken. In fact, the weld is also broken on that end over there as well, and the other side. So it's now been bolted back together to make sure everything is together, but it's something the owner needs to do is just clean it up and just make it a bit nicer. But in actual fact, considering it's been found, this is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. I kind of like that as well. But everything about it just looks so... I don't think I've ever seen a locomotive that looks so much like an industrial locomotive before. This just shouts industry. Everything else we kind of normally look at on the channel, it's pretty, stunning condition. It's been looked after and polished. Yeah, this looks like it could just go out onto the Peatworks now. So with that, let's go and have a look inside the cab, the shed, the shack, to the flight deck. Let's go look in the flight deck and see just how you control this thing. Looking at the cab, the first thing that you really see is on the door here we've got the brackets and a pocket of sorts, which we've now got the token in. Originally, this would have held a shovel, because it's Peatworks Railway, so you can shovel stuff off the line and just generally help with moving things around. Getting a bit closer, you'll notice there are some holes in the floor here. And your first thought may well be, well, they're obviously rocked from where this thing has kind of fallen apart. Not so. This big box here is full of sand. And the hole here is designed that you can sprinkle sand or make a little pile of it and kick it down, and it falls onto the wheel. And that is your sander. You've also got a gap cut across there, so you can see the train in your transmission. So you can see if you're slipping or your traction, which is actually a genuinely useful thing. It also serves as this wonderful feature that if you drop anything, say your car keys as you're going along, they'll fall down through the hole, never to be seen again. And with that, it's time to get into it. Oh, it's a bit of a strange one, this. it's deceptive in here because it feels quite large, but because you're kind of pushed in on top of the hydraulic transmission here, it's actually quite tight. So it's a bit weird. It's a kind of a strange variety of pipes which normally would be covered up, and the fact they're kind of loose like spaghetti everywhere in here makes it look quite agricultural, and also kind of makes it a little bit harder to actually find where your controls are. So the first thing here is the only thing that has been changed in here, and this is a ball valve that's been put in. And this allows you to bypass the hydraulic drive, which basically means you can push the thing, because otherwise, if this is in the middle and you've got no engine running, it won't move. It just sits absolutely still. And by having this into this position, it will now roll. With that side, this is your control for everything. You go that way, and we go that way. You pull it back this way, and you slow down. Somewhere in the middle will be stop, and that way will go that way. That's pretty complex. And we've got a throttle just here, which is very confusing because, to my mind, to go faster is to come this way and to go slower is that way, and that's the wrong way. That's full throttle, and that would be basically stall. The engine likes being about there. Anything slower than there, and it will just go pop, pop, and stop. Down up there is a battery, and then up here we have the all-important horn. We have an ignition box up here, and the best thing about the entire cab is we have a shelf here, so we can put rags, bits of stuff, cameras, lunch, drinks, all sorts can go on there. I particularly also like the fact that this is mounted here, which isn't the front of the cab. There's a space behind it. Coming over to here, I am sat on the tank for the hydraulics. That's what's in there. It's a wonderful idea, isn't it? Sit on the tank, of which you've got to put it somewhere. Why not make it a seat? We've got a handbrake here, which is interesting at best. It's the shaft's bent underneath, so it's stiff at some points. You basically stop it on the hydraulic drive and not that. And then this is second gear. This is go fast time. And that's about it. It's a little bit strange. It's in fact very strange. But with the basic controls looked at, the only thing to do is let's do the prep on this and let's take it out and see what it's like. Prepping this mighty machine is a long and arduous task. First, we have to check the fuel. Now, originally this had a gauge here, but the glass is broken down the side in there and the tap seals, so that doesn't work. So to fix that, we have to do a rather complex method of taking the cap off like so, reaching around here to borrow the coupling pin, and then take the filter out, and we can dip the tank. There's diesel on that, therefore we have diesel to do the day. So that's good. Also, diesel has now cleaned the coupling pin to make sure that remains clean, because that's important. Go back in there. Obviously, it's air-cooled, so there's no radiator, no water to check. So the only other thing we have to do is come around here and check over here, he says, for the dipstick, which is a cheeky little thing to recover, and confirm that there is indeed the wet black stuff on there. With that found, it's put that back. And, cool, that is difficult to get in. There we go. That concludes prep. Genuinely, that is all there is. Things like the axe boxes, they've got grease nipples on them down there, so they're done as a big exam. That's it. That's absolutely all there is to it. And then for starting it, well, I've shown you already the fact that there is a starting handle attached to it, but as you see the starting handle, you also see this lovely thing of a starter that's attached to it too, which means that all you have to do is reach into here, find the key, which is at a weird angle, twist it, with the locomotive started and having got myself somewhat accustomed to the controls, I was sent off to try and find an appropriate train for the little locomotive to pull. And after a little bit of looking about, I realised that hidden away, the railway had got a series of peat wagons, very similar to the type of thing that this thing would have actually pulled during its operational life. And so I just had to go and find them. fantastic for being able to control it. It is without doubt the most refined part of the engine, and with a bit of locking it into the gear, we get a really nice slow speed out of it. This is really nice crawl. It means that when buffering up to things, this is absolutely fantastic. And for shunting around it, doing a slow movement over 4 bits of the track like this, it's absolutely ideal. I do very much miss my visibility, not being able to see anything as we approach this crossing here, for instance. Over here, wait for everything bangs and crashes. It's, in that regard, terrible. In terms of the thing to drive, it's very easy to drive, very satisfying. Not comfortable. One of the strangest things about the whole thing is because there's the frames of their tracks in them, the tank that I'm on, my seat, seems to move independently from the rest of it. So as we're going along, I can feel my bottom kind of rising and falling in a totally different way to the rest of my surroundings. It's one of the weirdest sensations of any locomotive I've ever tried to drive. In fact, it is the weirdest sensation out of anything I've ever tried to drive. It feels agricultural, and it really does. And this is the locomotive in the most original, most how it was condition I've ever driven. This really does feel like it has come straight out of being in active service, you know, working on the things to be here today. Oh my! It finds every single point in the rail, every single bump. It's like, yep, there it is, no problem at all. We'll find that and we'll hit it hard. There is a small piece of foam on my seat, and that is all the suspension I seem to have. I'm sure there is some suspension down there. I can see the springs outside the axle boxes, but honestly, they don't seem to do much. It has, without doubt, the single worst ride out of anything I've ever driven. Out of everything that I've driven, this has the most agricultural noise to it. With that engine chugging away in the background, it really does sound like a stereotypical tractor. It feels like a tractor engine. And slowly getting here with enclosed space and a lack of ventilation, there's a certain aroma starting to gather. It smells very, very diesely and very oily and very agricultural. It's a strange smell, but it doesn't feel particularly fresh. It's a strange smell. Oh! It's not a good ride. Now, one of the things we do have tucked down here is the second gear, which is something like a high power. So, as we come around here, what we're going to do is open up the revs and just see what it will do at full track. Oh, dear me. Full track. Okay. Wow. That's quite fast. That's not a turn of speed. Well, I was moaning that this is slow, but wow, that is... Oh. What a turn of speed this actually has when it wants it. When it wants to move fast, it just flies. That's amazing. course, it is basically such an honour to drive something that has been so recently preserved. I mean, really, this thing is only just set for operation, and to be allowed to drive it, well, that feels special. This is a real newcomer, so it is something to be remembered for this kind of condition. And the owner there is another one which is very similar, came from a similar place, and that kind of retains more of its originality, more like a locomotive rather than shed. So it's important to keep this thing like this and kind of help tell part of its story. Possibly one of the most controllable locomotives I've ever driven. Now, I know you wouldn't get that from how it looks, but in terms of what it's like, easily one of the most controllable engines. Just nudge it that back, you'll have so much control over this. It really is a pleasure to drive, and something that I'd like to do more of, and do some shunting and moving stuff around with. It's also definitely one of the most sketchy things I've ever driven. This whole shed around me, the bodywork feels like it's just going to give up at any given moment. It really does. It's a strange sensation. But it's really good. It's really good. And I'm jealous of the owner for finding and being able to bring something into preservation in 2020. That's pretty amazing, really, when you consider it. And to have done so little work to get into an engine that works on the full train on the Apedale railway. Fantastic. I'm really happy it's still around, and something that really does help like this to tell the story of industrial railways, particularly peak railways, give us a glimpse to what it was like to be part of it. And yeah, frankly, if we lost the bodywork, you'd lose a lot of charm and a lot of history about what this engine is, so I'd never want that. But underneath, it's a really capable one, a really good little locomotive, and I'm sure it's going to be pretty useful to the guys here at the Apedale Railway. Good. It's really good. And a real good example of how things can be deceiving. Something that can look quite rough and ready can actually turn out to be a proper good little locomotive. If, slightly rough around the edges, because this is slightly rough around the edges. It's, it bounces and it crashes, and there are numerous issues with it, but I very much enjoy the whole sensation of it. I don't want to do it every day, that's for sure. I really do enjoy the sensation of what it's like to be on and how to operate it. It's a sensation. That's one thing that we can really describe this as, is being a sensation and an experience. It's mad. It's mad, it's loud, it's noisy, but it's fantastic. And I know a lot of what I'm saying is kind of looking at the faults with it, and it certainly is a flawed thing in this. It's a result of necessity. It's something that was made and converted to do a particular job. It did the job, it worked. And they kept using it to try something that was being used for so long. And to think that something like this was in use for so long, not the locomotives I've driven. They're much more modern devices. They're much newer. Yet this was in use much later. It's outperformed most of them. It's outlasted most of them. I fully agree with the owner when he talks about it's not going to have this fully restored. It's never going to be pristine and pretty. It's always going to resemble the state. It's important to remember this is how things were. And it is a wonderful piece of heritage to help tell the story of industrial railways. And like a genuine important part of the collection here at the Apedale Railway. And how things, I can't get over how lovely silky this transmission is. So much control and so nice to just gently
bring the thing to a halt with. It's great. It's just a knocker. It's a really super piece of kit. The things I would like to improve, I'd like a bit more room in here, I'd like a bit more room to be able to get to the handle beds, a bit tight. I think the throttle goes the wrong way. I want to push it that way to slow it down, and that speeds it up, and that's a slight issue, to be fair. It's a small issue. I'd like slightly better springing, especially over that bit there, which is rough as. I like the horn though. I like the box up there and the electrics in it. It's got everything in it to be a good engine. It just almost feels like it misses out on a couple of things that could make it really good. That said, for an engine that was built that long to last, normally for industrial railways, you expect it to be an Allen something that's built recently, 80s, something like that, would still be working, or something that was built in the 60s, to an older design. It's a very strange thing of this as a slow engine, but I suppose, very much, especially with this inverted transmission, if it worked, it worked. There's no need to change it. And yeah, okay, there's definitely things on it that are, could do with upgrading, but very much an engine that did what it was meant to do. So there was no reason to change it, no reason to upgrade it, no reason to do anything like that. Because why would you? It works, it does the job well. You've got a door on it. You've got a sensor heat comes on the engine. Oh, wait, that's the other thing. If I had the door shut at the front, A, I'd be able to see absolutely nothing, because I do rather need the light and the air coming from the space where the camera is. But also, my feet are hanging out of it. I would be pretty stooched up in here. And if you're a gentleman that's my head, if I sit up and don't slouch, my head is on the roof. I haven't sat here and slouched over to fit. It's not really got the ergonomics are poor. The ergonomics are poor. But as a sensation, as an experience, I don't think there's anything else that I've ever driven which would really put me in the mindset of what it was like to drive. What I need to do is to come back and drive this on an absolutely terrible day when the rain is flashing down and it's cold over the field road. Maybe there's snow on the ground to really get the full sensation. But that, it's great. I've had the Lister Auto train. It's a Loco, whatever they call it. I've had one of these. I've definitely had one. Not this one. This deserves to be here and be in the field railway. I do like it though.
Well, as you can see, it's starting to get dark, which can only mean one thing. I have enjoyed myself maybe a little bit too much and have driven the locomotive into the night. And yes, it is that good. Yes, it may look like a shed on wheels attached to rails or laid on rails, but it's brilliant. It's some of the most fun I've ever had, partly because it's just so bonkers, but also because it's literally one of the nicest things I've ever had to drive. Sure, it rattles and sure it's loud, but from a control point of view, it's absolutely magnificent. It's just such a simple and beautiful way of controlling it. It's brilliant, and to think that this thing hasn't until recently been preserved. This is a newcomer to preservation. It's a new thing to add to the preservation roster, and it's had almost nothing done to it. It's just fantastic. I love it. I'm very, very jealous of it. And frankly, I'd like to take it home because it is the most LMM-y vehicle we have ever featured on the channel, including my own vehicles. That sums up this channel remarkably well. And with that, a massive thank you to the Apedale Valley Light Railway for having us back, to the Moseley Railway Trust, who operate the whole thing, and to John, the owner. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys very, very much. And if you like what you've seen in the video, and maybe you'd like to come visit, then the links to the website, they're in the video description. Also, if you want to volunteer, the railway is looking for more volunteers and would love to hear from you. If you want to learn how to drive this or any of the other railway engines, things in the collection here, there's like almost 100 of them, then the link to that is also in the video description. Get in contact, I'd love to hear from you. And with that, if you've liked this, how about clicking over there for the last locomotive that I did here, the World War I simplex thing, or down here for a diesel on the standard gauge. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.